What's going on, guys? UFC is back. That means we are back with another video. Today we got UFC Fight Night Kansas, Garry versus Carlos Prates. This is actually a really good fight night card, so I'm excited to break this one down. Let's get straight into it. Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. I'm going to have to go with Edwards to win this one by decision. I just think she's a bit more technical on the feet. And Chandler is strong. She is like a physically imposing person in this division, but I think Edwards can keep it standing long enough to kind of pick her apart on the feet, circle the outside, use her quicker movements, and just win the fight based on being the better striker, the faster striker. So yeah, give me Jocelyn Edwards to win this one by decision. Let's move on to the next fight. Timmy Kawamba versus Roberto Romero. I'm going to go with Roberto Romero to win this one by decision. I was really impressed with his fight against David Onama in his UFC debut. I was very impressed. He came in there on short notice, dropped David Onama, and just overall did pretty good against him, considering David Onama as a debut is a really tough opponent. And Roberto Romero was going in there, dropped him, and he did good, man. He did good. And he obviously lost. He lost 30-27 on all three judges' scorecards because him and David Onama both got a knockdown in that first round. But doing that against David Onama in your UFC debut on short notice is pretty impressive to me. That's pretty impressive. Whereas Timmy Kawamba, nothing that he's done in the UFC or Dana White Contender Series has impressed me at all. Like, sure, he won on the Dana White Contender Series against Matteo Vogel. He also got taken down and outstruck on the numbers in that fight. Won the fight, sure. The stats aren't a good look. His next fight loses a split decision to Balaji. His next fight loses a decision to Lucas Almeida. He's 0-2 in the UFC. Hasn't been impressive in any of his fights. Got dropped by Lucas Almeida. I just don't rate Timmy Kawamba that highly. I also just don't rate his output. That's the main thing that's making me pick Romero in this fight. Timmy Kawamba, in his two UFC fights and his one Dana White Contender Series fight, has almost been doubled on strikes every single time. Against Lucas Almeida, he got outlanded 70-59. Against Balaji, outlanded by 60-33. Against Matteo Vogel, outlanded 67-43. He's just getting outstruck and outlanded. He's low output, not impressive. Roberto Romero's loss to David Onama is more impressive than anything I've seen from Timmy Kawamba. So yeah, give me Roberto Romero to win this fight. Let's move on to the next one. Jacqueline Amorim versus Poliana Viana. This is a pretty easy fight to pick, in my opinion. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm picking Jacqueline Amorim by submission in round 2. She's going to take her down. She's going to get the back or get some type of position and submit Poliana Viana. Viana is just not UFC caliber. And Jacqueline Amorim, she's on a streak. She looks very impressive. Her one loss was her UFC debut to Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes can be a very tough out if you're not ready for the pressure and cardio. Losing to Sam Hughes is not a bad look. I would also pick Sam Hughes to absolutely wipe the floor with Poliana Viana. Sam Hughes also has like the grappling upside, and that's Amorim's whole game, so you know it was going to be tough for her no matter what. Viana has nothing to offer on the ground. Okay, maybe not nothing. She does have a couple submissions here and there, but like, against who? She's not submitting any high-level opposition. Nobody on the level of Jacqueline Amorim. And I just think Amorim's going to take her down easily, control her, and eventually find the submission. So, yeah, give me Amorim by submission. Let's move on to the next fight. Cameron Simon versus Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm pretty excited for this one. Cameron Simon, I like him. He's a cool fighter. But Malcolm Wellmaker, dude, this guy looks good, man. I'm picking Malcolm Wellmaker by first round TKO. I just think he's going to be too physical, too powerful, too sharp for Cameron Simon. Cameron Simon's good. He's quick. He's skilled. He's well-rounded. But I just think the bigger, more powerful guys at bantamweight, like a Christian Rodriguez or like a Peyton Talbot, the two guys that have beaten him, they're just too much for him. And I think Wellmaker's going to be a lot bigger here. I think he's going to be a lot more powerful here. Simon's an undersized, underpowered bantamweight. I just think Wellmaker's going to find the shot. He's talented. He's skilled. He got a really nice knockout on the Contender Series in his last fight. First round KO over Adam Bromhold. And dude, I don't know. There is a possibility that Cameron Simon gets an upset here. He's the much more proven fighter, the much more experienced guy. But I just don't know. Cameron Simon's good, but I just think the bigger, like more skilled, more imposing guys in this division just give Cameron Simon too many problems. So I'm gonna go Malcolm Wellmaker by first round TKO. If Simon does implement a lot of volume and like if he gets some takedowns, I could see this being a hard fight for Malcolm Wellmaker. But I don't know. The way I see this fight going in my head is they meet in the middle. Wellmaker's got a clear size advantage. Simon's bouncing around, trying to land pitter-patter shots. Wellmaker lands something big over the top and puts Simon out. So, yeah, that's how I see this fight going. But, yeah, going Malcolm Wellmaker, first round TKO. Let's move on to the next fight. Damon Blackshear versus Alatang Lee. I'm picking Damon Blackshear by first round submission. I'm picking him as a lock. This is my most confident pick of the card. No, that's not just because I'm a huge Damon Blackshear fan. He's one of my favorite fighters, yes, but I just don't see how Alatang Lee wins this fight. Blackshear's the bigger, rangier guy, the more skilled striker, way better on the ground. The only thing Alatang Lee might have over Damon Blackshear is a slight power advantage, and Alatang Lee is not even that good at using his power. Like, he has one knockdown and one KO in the UFC. So, like, I don't know. He's a short, stocky built, kind of well-rounded guy, I guess. I don't know. I just don't see how Alatang Lee wins this fight. Blackshear's better on the ground. He's better on the feet. He's bigger, um, more skilled. I don't know. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people say Damon Blackshear had a bad performance last time against Cody Gibson. I don't think so at all. Cody Gibson threw everything he had in that first round against Damon Blackshear, and Blackshear was just like, all right, I'm going to shell up. You're going to gas yourself out, and I'm just going to let you tee off on me because I know I can take your best shots. And he did. He didn't really look like he was hurt at any moment. And then second round, they end up on the ground, and Cody Gibson just fucking gets submitted because Damon Blackshear has a nasty ground game. Yeah, I think Damon Blackshear by sub here is a lock. Maybe he just wins a dominant decision, but dude, I don't know. I could see him out striking Alatang Lee. I see this guy out wrestling Alatang Lee. I could see him submitting Alatang Lee. I just think there's no way Alatang Lee wins this. Could he like explode and come over the top with like a right hand or something? Maybe, but I just don't see that happening. Alatang Lee doesn't do that. He doesn't just explode and drop guys. Like, we rarely ever see that. So yeah, I'm going Damon Blackshear in this fight. He's a lock, my most confident pick of the card. Lock of the week. I don't really do lock of the week videos like most other people do, but you know what? I'm telling you guys right now, my lock of the week, Damon Blackshear. Yeah, let's get on to the next fight. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. I'm picking Chris Gutierrez to win this fight by decision. These two were booked a couple cards back, but it ended up getting canceled because Castaneda got sick. I don't remember which card it was off the top of my head, but yeah, Castaneda got sick, so they rebooked it for this card, and it looks like the fight's going to go through. And I was picking Gutierrez back then. I'm picking Gutierrez here again. I just see Gutierrez keeping this fight on the feet. He's got good takedown defense at a 71%, and I just think he outstrikes Castaneda. I rate Gutierrez's output. He's got decent power. He's got a really good kicking game, nice low kicks. And I just rate the level of competition he's fighting compared to Castaneda. If we look at Chris Gutierrez's losses, he has two losses, Two losses in the UFC, one on the Ultimate Fighter. Those two losses in the UFC were pretty recent, 2023 against Pedro Munoz, and then 2023 again against Song Yadong. And then before those two fights, he hadn't lost since 2018 on the Ultimate Fighter against Ronnie Barcelos. After losing to Barcelos, joins the UFC, goes on an 8-fight unbeaten streak against some pretty decent names. Vince Morales, KO. Morales is kind of a can, but he can be a tough out if you're not ready for him. The KO, in my opinion, is the impressive part. Vince Morales is very tough to finish, especially by KO. That's his only KO loss in the UFC is Chris Gutierrez, and he dropped him twice, so yeah. Chris Gutierrez showcasing the power there. He also has a win by KO over Frankie Edgar. I know it was an older Frankie Edgar, 2022, on a 3-fight losing streak, but I don't know. It's still just KOing Frankie Edgar in the first round like that and making him look easy. Only the higher level guys do that. Castaneda's not going in there and KOing Frankie Edgar in the first round and making him look easy. He just isn't. Like, I'm sorry to say. He's probably beaten a 2022 version of Frankie Edgar, but it's probably a competitive decision. I could honestly even see a Frankie Edgar beating a John Castaneda. I'm not even going to lie to you, but yeah, I don't know. I just think Chris Gutierrez, he's more proven. He's more consistent. He's fought way higher level competition. The loss to Song Yadong, I know he got 50-45'd, but like, if you actually watch the fight, there were some competitive moments in there. Song Yadong had to use some takedowns. Gutierrez was chewing up the legs. And like I said before, I really rate Gutierrez's output. In every single UFC fight that he's ever had, he has been the guy to land the more strikes. Every single fight, he's never been out-volumed in a single fight. Even in his losses. Lost to Pedro Munoz by decision, but outlanded him 77-60. Lost to Song Yadong by decision, outlanded him 87-77. Gutierrez is tough. Castaneda's got decent power, but like, And he doesn't even have decent power. His power is kind of mid. He's not KOing Chris Gutierrez. He just isn't. On the ground, he's not going to sub him. I know he has a wrestling background, but he's not going to be able to consistently take down Chris Gutierrez, who has really good takedown defense. I just see Chris Gutierrez winning this matchup. Higher level losses and higher level wins. Castaneda's best win is probably like Miles Johns or maybe Muin Gafarov after the Rinya Nakamura fight. But like, I don't know. Castaneda, he lost to Daniel Marcos, lost to Daniel Santos, and lost to Nathaniel Wood. The Nathaniel Wood fight was a domination. He got fucking 30-27, outlanded 131 to 55, taken down, controlled. That was just a beatdown from Nathaniel Wood. I think at bantamweight, Chris Gutierrez beats Nathaniel Wood. I think he does. I think he finishes Nathaniel Wood at bantamweight. But yeah, I'm taking Chris Gutierrez in this fight. Let's move on to the next one. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. I'm picking Evan Elder to win this fight, not just because we share the same name, but I just think he's the better fighter. Evan Elder's pretty good. He's pretty underrated in my opinion, and I think he wins this one on the scorecards. He was originally supposed to fight some guy named Ahmad Hassanzada, some like tall, rangy grappler or whatever, but he apparently, I've never seen this before. Apparently Ahmad Hassanzada got arrested like a week ago, so he had to pull out of his fight. So that's pretty funny, but yeah. I'm going Evan Elder to win this fight. Gage Young is not bad, but he's not good either. Like, I don't know. He had a decent showing against Quillen Salkild on the Contender Series. Had some somewhat decent moments in that fight, but ultimately just kind of got out grappled and outstruck by Quillen Salkild. And he's coming into the UFC. Quillen Salkild's really good though. Quillen Salkild's one of my favorite prospects at lightweight, and I think he's really good. So not taking anything away from that. But I just think Evan Elder's going to beat him. I just think he's better. Lost in his UFC debut to Preston Parsons, who is a welterweight. He's very big. And then after that, lost to Nazim Sadikov, who I rate very highly. And he was arguably beating Nazim Sadikov before the KO. He was arguably up 2 rounds. Dropped Nazim Sadikov. And it was like a weird doctor stoppage injury sort of thing with Evan Elder. But yeah, he was beating Nazim Sadikov before the doctor stoppage finish. And Nazim Sadikov is really good. I rate Nazim Sadikov. Since then, he's on a two-fight win streak. Beat Gennaro Valdez by decision and beat Darius Flowers by submission. Evan Elder's just good. He's well-rounded. He sticks to the fundamentals. He's good. Knows how to win fights. And I think he's going to win this one here against Gage Young. Gage Young's decent, like I said, but I just don't think he's going to be enough. Plus, he's on really short notice. I know Elder's also on short notice because this fight kind of got changed a bunch, but yeah, I just think Evan Elder wins this fight. Let's move on to the next one. Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. I'm going to have to go with Jimmy Flick in this one. Schnell is good, don't get me wrong. He's good offensively, he's a decent boxer, but he just sucks. He's good, but he sucks, if that makes sense. Like, he just loses. Like, I don't know, I know he loses to like higher level competition like Steve Erceg, Mateus Nicolau, Brandon Royval, Pantoja, but he also has some other not good losses. Lost to Hector Sandoval, lost to Rob Font on The Ultimate Fighter a long time ago. That's not a bad look, but like lost to Cody Durden by ninja choke in his last fight. Like, I don't know. He's too prone to getting caught in like submissions. Royval caught him in a submission. Durden caught him in a submission. I just think I just think they're going to end up in like some weird scramble and Flick's going to like latch up a submission or something and he's going to submit Matt Schnell. Jimmy Flick is very dangerous on the ground. On the feet, he's not good. Matt Schnell is going to be able to outbox him on the feet and outstrike him, but Jimmy Flick, I just see this fight hitting the ground at some point, and if this fight goes to the ground, I think Flick finds the submission. And on the feet, I don't think Schnell is going to KO Jimmy Flick on the feet. Schnell hasn't got a KO in like fucking years. Jesus, it's been like probably over a decade, close to a decade since Schnell got a KO win. So I don't know. Jimmy Flick, I know he's kind of chinny, but like he's getting KO'd by hard hitters. Guys like Charles Johnson, who has pretty good power. Alessandro Costa hits like a truck for this weight class. And yeah, I don't know. I think he survives. His submission game is nasty. And yeah, I'm picking Jimmy Flick by submission. Let's move on to the next fight. Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. This is an obvious pick. I'm picking Ikram Aliskerov by first round TKO as a lock. Probably my second most confident pick on the card behind Damon Blackshear. I'd say this is my second most confident pick. But yeah, Ikram's going to get this one done. Andre Muniz got knocked out by Paul Craig in 2023. Paul Craig knockout in 2023. Are you serious? I just can't trust Muniz's chin. Ikram is still. I don't care about the Robert Whittaker loss. Cool. He lost to Robert Whittaker on 2 weeks' notice. Craziest jump up in competition of all time. And his only other losses to his 2 losses in his pro MMA career are Robert Whittaker on short notice and Hamzat Chimaev. I'm not worried about Ikram in this fight. He's still one of the best prospects in the division. Just because he lost to 2 top 5 guys, that does not make me think any less of him. He's going to run through anybody on Muniz's level. And yeah, the way I see this fight going, fight starts, they trade some shots, Ikram lands some big right hand or something and puts Andre out cold. So yeah, I'm going Ikram Aliskerov. I just can't trust Andre Muniz to do anything in this fight. He's not taking Ikram down. He's not going to submit him. He's not going to knock him out on the feet. And yeah, Ikram Aliskerov is winning this fight. Let's move on to the next one. Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. I'm picking Randy Brown by decision. I'm pretty confident he wins this fight. He's got a huge striking advantage. Dalby has good cardio and he's got a good pace, but Brown is not the type of guy to just wilt to pressure. I think he's going to be able to keep this fight standing, piece up Dalby on the feet, land some sophisticated good shots, and just hurt Dalby and outstrike him. I think that's how this fight goes. I'm fairly confident in Randy Brown in this fight. Dalby's 40. His style does not go well with old age, so there's a big chance that he could be slowing down at this stage in his career. But yeah, Randy Brown should win this one pretty comfortably. Even though I think Nicholas Dalby's pretty underrated. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Nicholas Dalby's pretty underrated. In his last fight against Rinat Fakhretdinov, it was a split decision. I thought he could have got the win there, but it was debatable. And then before that was on a 4-fight win streak. KO'd Gabriel Bonfim, beat Muslim Salikov, beat Warley Alves, beat Claudio Silva. But before that, he lost to Tim Means. I don't rate that. 2021 losing to Tim Means. I don't know. I don't know if I rate that at all. But yeah, I mean, has a win over Zaleski. He's good. Nicholas Dalby's good, but I'm gonna have to go with Randy Brown in this fight. I just think he keeps it standing, lands clean shots, lands clean right hands, and I think he's gonna hurt Nicholas Dalby at some point. Randy Brown's very accurate. He's like if Kevin Holland was a little bit more sophisticated on the feet and a little bit more calculated and accurate on the feet. Randy Brown's very good. He's rangy, and I think he's going to catch Dalby a bunch of times and probably not put him out. Dalby's very durable, but I think he wins on the scorecards pretty comfortably. Also, I thought Randy Brown won his last fight against Brian Battle. I thought that should have went to Randy Brown. I thought that was a bit of a robbery, but yeah. Anyways, Randy Brown, decision. Let's move on to the next fight. Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. I'm going the underdog. I'm going Abus Magomedov here. I just think he's a little bit more technical than Michel Pereira and a little bit higher level than the guys Pereira is just dusting in the first round. I don't see... Well, actually, that's a lie. I do see Michel Pereira catching Abus in the first round and putting him out, but I'm going Abus. I think he survives early. I think his technical sniper-like style can kind of keep Pereira from being able to engage and close the distance as easily. I think he's going to be able to land a bunch on Pereira. And if Pereira doesn't finish him in 3-4 minutes, he's not winning this fight. He's not winning on the scorecards. Abus is going to start taking him down, picking him apart on the feet. I know Abus has had cardio issues in the past, but his cardio is way better than Michel Pereira. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Abus Magomedov here. I think the takedowns are going to be a factor. I think the sniper-like long striking style is going to be a factor. Abus is good. Abus is very underrated. He's a lot better than people give him credit for. He's only lost to 2 people in the UFC, Kyle Baralho and Sean Strickland. 2 guys that are in the top 10, some of the best fighters in the middleweight division, Kyle Baralho and Sean Strickland. And other than that, dusted up Dustin Stoltzfus in 19 seconds, beat Warley Alves comfortably, took him down multiple times, just completely mauled him, 30-26'd him. And then in his last fight against Bruno Fajeda, yeah, he was in a bit of trouble early. Bruno was landing some good shots in that first round. Landed a big shot on Abus and kind of hurt him, but Abus started coming back in the later rounds. He got the takedown, and he showed, getting a submission in the 3rd round, he showed that he has the cardio to get finishes across all 3 rounds. Michel Pereira has shown that he only has 1 minute of cardio. 2 minutes at most, maybe 3. I just don't trust Michel Pereira in this matchup. I'm not going to trust my pick with a guy that it's either round 1 KO or he loses. I'm not trusting that. Obviously, he has won decisions before, but against way lower level guys. Abus is much higher level than anybody Michel has beaten already. Higher level than Mikhail Alexeychuk. Higher level than Ihor Potieria. And Michel Pereira in his last fight got dusted by Anthony Hernandez. Now, I'm not saying a Boost would beat Anthony Hernandez. Hell no. Anthony Hernandez would dust a Boost as well. But I think a Boost can take what Anthony Hernandez did and apply it to his own game. Pressuring against the fence, going for a lot of takedowns, mauling him on the ground. Michel Pereira is dangerous on the ground with submissions, but he doesn't really have the best wrestling or control game. It's more just he hurts you and then like catches you in a guillotine or like wraps something up. He's not gonna like reverse positions on a Boost. A Boost is the better grappler here. And I think he's the more technical striker of the two. I think he can pick apart Michel Pereira after the first round once he gets tired. I'm going a Boost here, man. I think a Boost wins this fight. Very close, though. I could see Michel Pereira hurting him, stealing some rounds, maybe KOing him in the first. I don't know. But yeah, it's a close fight. Hard to pick. But I'm going a Boost. Let's move on to the next fight. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. I'm picking Giga Chikadze here by decision, another underdog. I just think Onama's too prone to get hurt. He gets hurt in a lot of his fights. He survives. He doesn't get finished, but he gets hurt in a lot of his fights. And against Giga Chikadze, you can't afford that. I think Chikadze's going to chew up the legs here, land a bunch of good shots, set up some head kicks. I think he'll drop David Onama at some point. I think Chikadze's boxing is very underrated. He actually does have some decent hands. Onama is going to have the power advantage here. But I don't know. Onama, I just don't see him chinning Giga Chikadze. Giga Chikadze's very durable. Onama's not like Francis Ngannou, right? He's not going to touch you and you die, all right? He's got good power, but like, I think Chikadze survives the power. And I don't think Onama's wrestling or grappling is good enough to just consistently take Chikadze down and dominate him on the ground. I don't see it. I just don't see that happening. Chikadze's got really good wrestling defense. He's got a 70% takedown defense, whereas David Onama only has a 20% takedown accuracy. So I just don't think the takedowns are going to be there consistently. I think maybe he'll get like one, maybe two on Chikadze, but that's even being generous. I think Chikadze's going to dance around the outside, utilize low kicks to cut off Onama's explosive movements, and I just think he picks Onama apart on the feet. He's too experienced, man. He's seen guys like David Onama before. He's just going to pick them apart. Giga Chikadze, the one issue that I have and the one worry that I have is that he kind of gasses out and maybe gets like finished or something, or maybe just like loses the later rounds from gassing, maybe. I don't know. Chikadze does kind of have cardio issues sometimes, but it's not terrible at all. His cardio's fine, especially for 3 rounds. I know he lost to Arnold Allen because he got outpaced in that last fight, but Arnold Allen's got a different pressure and pace on the stand-up that he puts on people. Onama's no Arnold Allen, all right? And before that, beat up Alex Caceres. Not beat up, it was a close fight, but beat Alex Caceres. Before that, lost to Calvin Kattar by decision, but Calvin Kattar's very tricky. Calvin Kattar's super good, really good on the stand-up. And before that, was on a tear, beating Edson Barboza, Cub Swanson, some other good names like Jamal Emmers. He's just good. Chikadze's really good. He's fought way higher level opponents, and I think he's going to circle around the outside, pick apart David Onama, survive the power shots, and win a decision. So yeah, Giga Chikadze by decision. Let's move on to the next fight. Anthony Smith versus Mingyan Zhang. I'm going to have to go with Mingyan Zhang. I'm taking him as a lock. I just don't see Smith winning this fight. He's at the tail end of his career. He's looked terrible in his recent performances. Like, let's be real. Literally gave up against Dominic Reyes. I know he was going into that fight very emotional. He lost a really close friend of his. I'm pretty sure it was like his first fight in his career without him in his corner. So I know a lot of emotions were going through Smith's head. But he just got bullied and just dominated and finished in that fight. Like, literally, like, Anthony Smith got outlanded 121-21. Just got completely butchered in that matchup. And then before that, got outclassed by Roman Dolidze. 100 strikes to 51 strikes. How do you let Roman Dolidze double your strikes and outclass you? That's insane to me. Roman Dolidze should not be outclassing anybody. Like, if there's no way you get outclassed by Roman Dolidze and then you beat Zhang Mengyang. That's just not going to happen. Zhang Mengyang has too much power. He's smoking guys in the first round. His power is ridiculous. Like, I know he's KOing cans, like, on the regional scene, and he hasn't faced anybody high level in the UFC. But, like, the Brandon Ribeiro KO is kind of decently, like, impressive. Brandon Ribeiro is pretty solid. He got a good win in his last performance against DR Nurgaje, dropped him and then submitted him. He's good. Brandon Ribeiro is a decent unranked middleweight, or light heavyweight. He's pretty solid. Also KO'd Tuco Tokos, who's very durable. Navajo Sterling couldn't get him out of there. Also KO'd Ozzy Diaz. I don't know. Those are some pretty tough, durable guys. And Zhang Menyan just went out there and just dominated them. So I think he goes out here. I think Smith might be able to land a few good shots before he gets clipped, but Zhang Menyan's just too explosive, too powerful. Anthony Smith's talking about retirement. It's never a good thing when fighters are talking about retirement. that usually means they're going to end up going on a big downhill slope. They don't have the heart to fight anymore. They don't have the fighting spirit within them. I think Anthony Smith has lost that fighting spirit, and it's really going to show in this fight. I think it might be a worse beatdown than he had against Dominic Reyes. So, yeah, give me Zhang Minyan as a lock. Let's move on to the next fight. Main event time, Ian Machado Garry taking on Carlos Prates. I'm going Ian Garry. I'm picking Ian Machado Garry to win this fight by decision. I just think he's well-rounded and better everywhere than Carlos Prates. Yes, even in the striking. Let me explain. First off, ever since this fight got announced, I was thinking, oh, Ian Garry. But I don't know, after I picked against a fighting nerd last time at 314. I picked against a fighting nerd. I picked Bryce Mitchell to beat Gene Silva. That ended horribly for me. So I'm a little bit nervous here because maybe these guys are just unbeatable. But I stand by my opinions on the fighting nerds. I think Prates is the worst out of the four, and I think he's going to lose here tonight. I don't think he's on the same level as a Kaio or a Rufy or a Gene Silva. I do think he's really good. He's definitely top 10 worthy in the division, but Ian Garry is so good. He's so underrated. Like, seriously, I think he's a better striker than Carlos Prates. Skill-wise, give me Ian Garry all day. Prates has the power, which makes me very nervous. Prates has nasty, dangerous power, and I don't want Ian Garry to stand with him the whole time because I think if he stays on the feet the entire time with Carlos Prates, he will outland him for the majority of the time. I think he's quicker on the feet, quicker hands, better footwork, better distance management. But I just think Carlos Prates, he just has insane power. If Garry stands with him for too long, I do think Carlos will find the knockout. But that's the thing. He's not going to stand with him the whole time. He's going to stand at the beginning, clip Prates a bunch of times, be the faster fighter. He has better distance management, in my opinion, better footwork. He's going to be chopping at the legs. I think he's going to make Prates chase him. I think Prates is going to be the one on the front foot, using his power to kind of scare Ian Garry. But Ian Garry is going to be composed, dancing around the outside, chipping away at the legs, hitting some nice body kicks. And I think eventually, when Prates gets like over-aggressive, tries to force like a power shot, Garry initiates the clinch. He's a really good clinch fighter, and he's got good judo. I think he's going to hit some judo throws, get Prates to the ground. And on the ground, it's a completely different level. Ian Garry's grappling is so underrated, like genuinely. Are we just going to act like he didn't take 2 rounds off of Shavkat Rakhmonov, have his back, and almost choke him out with a rear naked choke? You're telling me Prates does any of that? No, if Prates and Shavkat fight, I'm picking I'm picking Shavkat by submission in like 3 rounds. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, Ian Garry's grappling is so underrated. He's one of the best pure jiu-jitsu artists in this division, in my opinion. Like, it's so good. It's so crazy how underrated his grappling is. Trains with Charles Oliveira at Shoot to Box. And I just think on the ground, it's a different level. On the feet, it's competitive. Even though I think Ian Garry's a slightly more technical, better striker. That's another thing. I'm seeing a lot of people downplay Ian Garry on the feet. Why? Because he got outstruck by Michael Venom Page, the best striker in the UFC. Nobody can stand with Michael Venom Page. Did we not just see what he did to Shara? Like, I'm sorry, like, Michael Venom Page is too good for anybody on the feet. I would also comfortably pick him to school Prates on the feet. Like, I'm not going to lie. I think MVP would school Prates on the feet and pick him apart and just dominate him on the feet. So that's not a bad look at all for Ian Garry. Like, he did what he had to do in that fight, got the takedowns, and that's what he's going to do in this fight. If he doesn't want to stand with Carlos Prates, maybe he eats a big shot and then he feels the power of Prates. He can take this fight to the ground. He can. He did it against Michael Venom Page. Like, people are acting like Shavkat. I was seeing some people in comment sections say he got outstruck by Shavkat. No, he didn't. Ian Garry landed the better strikes and the more damaging strikes. He outlanded He outlanded Shavkat Rakhmonov in that fight, 42-37. He outstruck Shavkat. Shavkat won in the clinch. People are acting like that one big right hand that Shavkat landed on Ian Garry means he like outstruck Ian Garry. No, Ian Garry won most of the striking exchanges. Shavkat won in the clinch and getting takedowns and stuff like that. Ian Garry's experience and fight IQ is also another big factor in this matchup. Like, let's be real. Carlos Prates' best win is probably Neil Magny. Are we serious right now? Neil Magny? Like, Jesus, come on. I know he KO'd Neil Magny in the first round, but like, Ian Garry performed better against Neil Magny. Like, he just did. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, he just straight up did. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Carlos Prates KO'd Neil Magny first round. Ian Garry went to a decision with Neil Magny. Carlos Prates was getting clipped by Neil Magny on the feet. Like, the striking numbers were even. Every time Neil Magny would blitz, he would hit Carlos Prates with a bunch of straight shots. And he was clipping Carlos Prates pretty consistently. Like, against Ian Garry, Neil Magny didn't do any of that. He had zero success against Ian Garry. He got 30-25, 10-8'd in 2 rounds. Like, arguably a 30-24. Like, you could argue that Ian Garry 10-8'd Neil Magny in all 3 rounds. Like, that was just a complete beatdown from Ian Garry. He took Neil Magny down, out-grappled him, beat the fucking shit out of him on the feet. Like, Michael Morales' win over Neil Magny was more impressive than Prates'. Prates is so hittable. I just think he doesn't have the best head movement. His defense is not that good. Gary's quick boxing is going to be able to get him on the inside, land some good shots on Prates. His fight IQ is going to keep him safe. He's not going to do anything stupid. And I just think he wins this fight, initiates the takedowns, gets him down. I just think he has more ways to win this fight. And Carlos Prates is kind of just worrying about, or Carlos Prates is kind of relying on a knockout chance. And I've said this before, I don't like picking fighters when they only have a knockout chance. Like in the Lerone Murphy-Josh Emmett fight. Josh Emmett only had a puncher's chance. Lerone Murphy was the better striker, better grappler, better distance management, faster, everything. And look what happened. He arguably 50-45'd Josh Emmett, in my opinion. It was a 49-46, but you could arguably score that 50-45, and it would make sense. Like, Josh Emmett wasn't landing shit. I know Carlos Prates is way higher level than Josh Emmett, and the striking is going to be close, but I don't know, like I said before, Gary's super good on the feet, and he has the grappling upside in this matchup. Like, I think the striking will be very close, but Garry is the better striker, in my opinion. Prates has the power advantage, yes, but Ian Garry has faster hands, better footwork, better distance management, higher fight IQ. I just think he's better everywhere on the feet except for power and maybe in the clinch. But like in the clinch, it's not like he's going to be striking the whole time. He's going to be looking for trips, throws. Like, I just think he's going to be too much for Prates. Prates, going from Neil Magny to Ian Garry is a big step up in competition. So I just don't think Carlos Prates is ready for it. I know he's a fighting nerd. He's got insane confidence, and they have a lot of aura, I guess you could say, but I don't really take aura into consideration when I'm picking fights. Carlos Prates' best win is KOing Li Jinliang, which, yes, is impressive, but at the same time, Li Jinliang was coming off a big layoff and was coming off like some back injuries, I'm pretty sure. Hadn't fought in like 2 years. So, yeah, I mean, it's impressive, but the circumstances make it a bit less impressive. Injuries, layoffs, yeah. Also, I don't know how I haven't brought this up yet. We have no idea if Prates can go 5 rounds. We've seen Ian Garry go 5 rounds. We've seen him go 3 hard rounds. He has good cardio. He can put on a pace. He can go 5 rounds. Carlos Prates smokes like 10 packs of cigarettes a day. A lot of drinking. I don't know if he's going to be there for 5 rounds. Is he going to have that dangerous KO power for 5 rounds, or is it more like 2.5, 3 rounds that he has that dangerous KO power? Also, like, going back to like the Neil Magny clipping in part, I can't believe I just forgot about this. Trevin Giles was working Carlos Prates on the feet before getting KO'd. He was working Prates on the feet, outlanding him, hitting him up with good shots. Like, and I got people in my ear telling me, dude, Ian Garry has no chance in the striking. Trevin Giles was beating him in the striking before getting KO'd. Ian Garry is 10 times the striker that Trevin Giles is. Let's be real. Like, the cardio, we don't know anything about Prates' cardio. We don't know how his chin's going to hold up against a power puncher. The hardest hitter he's fought is Li Jinliang, who is kind of flat-footed and never was going to be able to find the shot. I know Ian Garry doesn't really have power, but like, he's accurate and he can land some good shots and hurt someone. So who knows, man? It's going to be an interesting fight, but I just think Ian Garry's better everywhere and he's going to win the fight. So yeah, Ian Garry decision. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys in the next one. This is a sick card. Peace.